You heard Goldfrapp, you did hear Frank Turner, and I Still Believe. Frank, one of your suggestions for the 1001 tunes you must listen to before you die. They're coming in from all quarters. Laid Back has come in from Meredith on the email. Bakerman by Laid Back says, I don't know any other Laid Back tunes. It's a classic. Got to be worth a slot, even if it's number 999. I don't know whether they're in kind of order like that in terms of quality. I think they literally are just chronologically in the book. And we'll find out now from the man who's here to discuss all. Catterall, welcome back for another Tuesday Book Club.
Bonjour.
Have you come out of the quagmire of 1001 songs you must hear before you die?
Do you know, ideally, I think this is the kind of book that you leave through on the toilet, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a superior kind of toilet book, but essentially you leave through it on the toilet. I consumed it, Nemone, in one sitting.
Well, let's hope that that wasn't necessarily bathroom bound and that you were able to be perhaps in another room in your house. But, OK, I imagine that was quite a feat.
I may have been in several rooms during the consumption of the book, including that one. But, yes, I did read the whole thing.
It's just but tell us first of all, who's it by?
It's edited by Robert Dimery, who previously did 1001 albums you must hear before you die, along with a whole bunch of music hacks that he's wrote together to produce this thing and contribute.
Okay, and are these seminal songs, or are they like I said,
most of them. I mean, all the ones you'd expect actually. So you got your, obviously you got your Waterloo Sunsets and Tickets to Rides and your God Save the Queens, but it's also got quite a few sort of curveballs in there as well. Things like Big Black and quite what's rather patronisingly called, which they don't to their credit, world music. Things like sort of Spanish flamenco and French chanson, or chanson, and Portuguese fado sort of stuff as well.
Okay, so there's an enormous mix. What do they give us their reasons for picking the tracks? Or, I mean, is that discussed, or do we have a little potted history of each tune?
It's a fairly sneaky way of getting a list book out, I think. I mean, before you die, before you shuffle off the small coil. Really, I mean, do we have to have heard Phil Spector's, for instance, To Know Him Is to Love Him before we shuffle off? I mean, I don't necessarily think so.
Just wait for the text and email.
Oh, I'm sure.
Light up if it did.
And, for instance, where's Fool's Gold? Where's Anna Blam, played Waltzing Matilda by the Pogues? Or even Eric Bogle, the original.
They're all missing.
They're missing. I mean, obviously there's going to be huge heated arguments, and of course the editor sort of admits this. And of course in the construction of the book there were lots of to and fro's and reversals of thought and that sort of thing. But no, I think it's a very respectable
So in your
package.
humble, do you think they've done okay on the 1001? I mean, I think we're all going to get our mucky paws on it. The lunchtime team are already leafing through to see if they've managed it.
Well, I think it is all kind of, essentially quite partisan, these things, and they do have most of my favourites in there. Although I don't have It's Not Easy Being Green, which I think is a terrible
Mission Alley.
Very remiss of them. They have my favourites, really. They have sort of, Talking Heads, it's Heaven, and Oh Superman, and Under Pressure, which is a terribly strange song, Under Pressure, if you think about it. And it's also got some fantastic trivia in there, the fact that Sid Vicious, for instance, strode up to Paul Weller in a nightclub at the time of the release of Holidays in the Sun, and basically says, we nicked your intro for In the City, and nutted him. So Paul Weller nutted him back. And the fact that sort of Roy Orbison actually refused David Lynch's use of In Dreams for Blue Velvet, which of course absolutely makes that film. One of the most tremendous and exciting soundtracks, I think, ever. And David Lynch just said, oh, well, I don't care, and just went ahead and used it anyway. And the fact that Underworld's Born Slipper, lager, 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 the chant actually came about because Carl Hyde kind of missed his place and forgot the words and just thought, well, I'll just repeat something in my conscious, rambling stream of consciousness,
And that was what ensued. So I guess kind of good for any music fan, and like you said, it'll kind of adorn coffee tables probably around the country, and some arguments will ensue. Have you heard all 1001, Ali?
I have heard, I made a list of this, I've heard 553 of them.
Okay.
So I have 448 to go.
You've done the maths, excellent.
But interesting, as I say, 101 songs, I'm never good at maths, 1001 songs will fit, I suppose, comfortably on the average iPod.
Yeah, so actually...
Which is quite an instructive thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so maybe they need to go bigger next time. So Marco, for instance, did I can't do 1001. I'm listening online, living in Portugal, but Luxembourg, but I'm from Portugal. But I'd go for 26 A to Z. So a perfect circle: Bush, Cure, Bowie, Eels, Foo Fighters, Gotan Project, Hives. All the way through to the XX Islands, Pete Yorn and ZZ Top. Very nice.
ZZ, yeah.
Yeah. One of the tracks that does make an addition to the book, or is featured in the book, Salt and Pepper, Push It. It's made the list of 1001 songs for the book that we were just discussing. Tom says, inspired by your 1001 songs, I've started my own list of 1001 songs to hear after you die. Top of the list, Mazzy Star, Fade Into You. Nicely done. It's one way of doing it. So keep discussing on the text and email while we look at the second book on offering, and I think we have a fan amongst our midst. Talk to us then about this new...
Pardon.
Okay, well, let's leave it in the French and let's have it in English, Ali Catterall. We are talking about the next instalment of a favourite cartoon character of yours.
Asterix, yes, which of course means star, and of course he's a massive star in about 100 territories all over the world.
And this is new.
This is new. This is on the occasion of Asterix and Obelix's Golden Jubilee, because they are 50. In fact, they're 51. This came out last year. As Asterix was created for a French magazine called Pilote, or Pilote, on the 29th of October 1959.
And you actually have bought an original...
the Asterix book.
Well, yeah, all of them, and you've bought one of the original ones.
One of the originals, Asterix and the Laurel Wreath, which is one of my absolute favourites. Yeah.
I'm going to try and tweet some pictures from that, certainly, and maybe this new version. So what are we covering in the new Asterix?
This is a very, very strange one. This is essentially for people who are very familiar with Asterix, being as it is a kind of weird anarchic mashup of in-jokes and homages and artistic homages. It's not really a proper story at all. Very unlike Uderzo's recent output, Uderzo being the illustrator, who continued the good work of Asterix when his collaborator, the writer René Goscinny, died in 1977. There's a very moving tribute to her father by Goscinny's daughter Anne. Her father died when she was 9, and she writes in the foreword, "Fathers, at the age of 9, I said to myself, like a child reciting a nursery rhyme, if Asterix survives, then I promise to think that death is a joke, a bad joke, but a joke all the same. I'll tell myself that imagination can win out over reality." How extremely moving is that?
So that's at the front of this Asterix and Obelix.
Yeah. That's the kind of tone of it.
And, I mean, so they have the blessing of the Goscinny kind of family, but,
absolutely.
I mean, it's much felt, I think, amongst fans that perhaps the stories haven't continued in the same way, I suppose, since...
Yeah, I mean... You know. I mean, some people sort of think they're non-canonical. You know, the ones that came after Goscinny's death, which basically begin with I think Asterix and the black gold. I think that's the one.
You'll be checking it later.
I'm sure
I know, Ali.
I'm sure people will be checking.
So for the birthday edition, which I guess this is what it's called, isn't it? This is Asterix and Obelix's birthday for the Golden Jubilee. Do we get any kind of plot or? Any sort of semblance of a story?
Well, essentially the plot is that the village, the little Gaulish village we all know so well, holds out against the Roman invaders, etc., etc.
Time and time again.
Exactly. Hold a joint birthday party for Asterix and Obelix, and all their old foes and friends, including the pirates, and Julius Caesar, who looks extremely like Peter Cook, actually, I just realised belatedly. Are sort of gathering round to send them presents.
And did you enjoy this kind of next instalment?
I'll tell you what I really did enjoy. I really enjoyed revisiting my childhood, because I spent some part of the weekend... as I say, I have all the Asterix books. I'm a big aficionado of Asterix, or aficionado, as I say in Spain, and I've read pretty much the whole lot, and have kept them not in mint condition. I mean, some of the covers are falling off, and the spines are broken and stuff.
How it should be.
Read with love. And it was such a delight and a joy to read back them. I always wondered when I was a kid why adults and grown-ups around me would be laughing their heads off out loud at what they were reading. So I thought, that's a bit odd, you know, these are for children. Why are the adults laughing? Why are the grown-ups laughing?
But did you revisit...
Oh, of course, I was chuckling my boots off. You know, they are very, very funny. I mean, they're actually quite grown-up sensibility in terms of jokes and the satire. I mean, most of them are satires. I mean, like Mansion of the Gods, for instance, is kind of a satire on real estate. The Roman Agent is a satire on spin doctoring. In Asterix and the Cauldron, you have an Inland Revenue tax inspector who actually talks in forms. As in, are you A, ordinary passers-by, B, motivated by friendly intentions, or C, bandits? And I mean, my girlfriend said to me when I complained to her that I didn't have enough time to prep this one, because I've been terribly busy this week, and she said, Ali, it's Asterix, you've been prepping this all your life. You know. And one of the other things I love about it is are the names. I mean, the names are some of the most hysterical things about Asterix. So you've got names like Typhus, Metatarsus, homeopathics, habeas corpus, one I love. And as for yourself, Nemone, I've realised that your name, filtered through the Asterix prism,
did it?
would be Mnemonics.
Mnemonics.
How beautifully appropriate at that, because you're on the radio and that. Mnemonics.
Mnemonics.
And I'd be Prattlus, I suppose. Prattlus, Catterall.
6 Music. BBC 6 Music.